this is Diane Mireles with Tidbit Tuesday at Visions and Traditions Realty. It's good to be back. Hope you all had a great weekend and hope the kids are back to school safe and sound and everything's getting kind of calm now. Today we want to talk about buyers and just, some buyer tips. And these are things that we have covered in the past, but we're going to cover them kind of in a little bit of a different light, since we talked about sellers having houses that get stale occasionally. So we're going to hit 10 tips for buying a home. So the number one tip, or let's count down, the number 10 tip would be the money portion. And on the money portion, remember that you want to start saving your money several months prior to buying a house. You want to start putting it aside and having it in your bank and know where it is and what you're doing with it. And then number 9, like I always say, get pre-approved. Do not get pre-qualified. Get a pre-approval. The pre-approval is going to be a little bit more involved for you, but it's also going to tell the seller that you've taken the extra steps and that you really can buy the house. And then also remember, once you get that pre-approval, don't go out and buy any cars, don't open up any new credit card accounts, don't do anything unless you talk to the lender or your real estate agent. That's really important. Number 8, avoid a border dispute. I think that's kind of a cute title considering everything that we're going through in politics. But when I'm talking about our border dispute, I'm referring to the survey of the property. The Texas Real Estate Commission is very adamant about wanting to be sure that you're getting your property. So for many, many years, title companies would allow the use of old surveys. And now the Real Estate Commission has actually cracked down on that, which is a good thing. It's a good thing and a bad thing, because the surveys usually run about $350, $400, so that kind of stinks. But the positive thing is, for sure that you're getting the property that you've actually put the contract on and that you've actually are going to close on. So just be a little bit cautious. The other thing, one thing that I kind of get squeamish about with surveys is I've come into so many situations where somebody used an old survey, and even though it was only maybe 5 years old, when they decided to put up a new fence, the surveyors went out and to locate the rods in the yard and everything and start the fence line, and lo and behold, the fence had moved and they were either short land or they had more land than what they anticipated. Then what the situation then meant, okay, shoot, Mr. Neighbor, Mr. Backyard Neighbor, I gotta knock on your door because you're gonna be losing a portion of your backyard. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Be sure you get the survey. And then don't try to time the market. Real estate is cyclical. It just kind of goes around and around. I can't say the word. Isn't that terrible? There's some words that you can say and some words that you can't, but I'm not afraid to admit it. Anyway, so the real estate market is constantly revolving, and you just have to kind of watch it. I never think that there's a bad time to buy. I never think that there is a bad time to sell. I never think that there's a better time to buy or a better time to sell. There's positive points for every time, for any time during the year. And you just have to look at the positive side of things. And then of course it depends, you have to step back and kind of look at the big picture. Look at the big picture of the property that you're wanting to sell or the property that you're wanting to buy. And then also remember, bigger is not always better. So you might get into a neighborhood when you're wanting to buy, you start looking at these houses and you see this beautiful house, and all of a sudden the real estate agent runs the comps for you. It's the biggest house in the neighborhood or the largest house on the block, think about it twice. Unless it's a super duper really good deal, and it will, and it should be, because the larger the square footage, the less price per square foot you're going to pay, so it's going to look more appealing to you. Just be sure that you look at the comps for the whole neighborhood, and you just don't want to get yourself in a situation where down the road, if you have to sell, you're not going to be able to get the appreciation out of the property that you want. Avoid sleeper costs. The sleeper costs are going to be those costs that you really don't expect. When you're adding up the costs, remember, yeah, you got your mortgage, yes, you've got your insurance, yes, you've got your private mortgage insurance if you're putting less than 20% down, and yes, you have your taxes. But consider what you might be paying in utilities, and then step back and look at the age of the house and think about what things may be up and coming in need of replacement. And yes, you can get a home warranty, which is very, very beneficial. However, the home warranty doesn't cover everything, so just be prepared for those sleeper costs. This is a good one. Remember, you're buying a house, you're not dating it. So, emotions. When you're dating, you're emotional. When you're buying, you need to think of it as a business decision. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Sometimes it's really hard to not get emotionally involved because you think, oh my God, this is the house of my dreams and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, yes, it can be, but look at it, count your pennies, research it, look at that inspection and just go over it with a fine-tooth comb, because even though it could be the house of your dreams, from what you're seeing on the physical side, it could be a nightmare after you buy it if it's in need of a lot of repairs. Remember the secret science. Oh, let me back up here. And then talking about buying the house, give the house a physical. That means get the house inspected. You want to be sure that the house is inspected. And then remember, the inspectors, they can't see through walls, but they certainly can point you in the right direction for some things. And it's crazy the things that inspectors can come up with. Sometimes people go, oh, well, all they do is turn on the dishwasher or turn on the faucets. Well, yeah. Hey, Brenda, how are you? That's what they do. But they also can tell you if something is not up to code. But you also have to remember, and this is a part of the sleeper cost, if something is not up to code, if that code was not in effect when the house was built, the seller's not going to be responsible for that. That's going to be most likely something that will be your choice whether or not you want to go ahead and spend the money to have it fixed. And then the secret science of bidding. Remember, when you're placing a bid on the house, when you're making an offer on the house, to check those comparables. You want to be sure that you're being fair to yourself and fair to your seller, and you're taking all the things that we've talked about previously. Hey dear, how are you? My husband just joined us and he's sweet. So you want to be sure that when you're making the bid that you're understanding, or you're able to somehow or another relay to the seller the reason for your bid and tell them your concerns. And then this is kind of my favorite, and this is the last one. Stalk the neighborhood. Yes, I said stalk the neighborhood. Hey, Walter. And if you're buying in Alvin, stalk Walter's neighborhood. I'm just joking there. Anyway, no, seriously, when you're buying a home, drive the neighborhood. Go over there. Look at the house during the day. Go over there in the morning. Go over there in the afternoon when you're getting off of work. Go over there on a Saturday. Go over there on a Sunday. Start at the neighborhood entrance or whatever and do the commute. Check how far things are. You want to be sure that it's a comfort zone for you. Hey, David. You want to be sure that it is a comfort zone for you. So stalk that neighborhood. those are harsh words, I know, but that's the only way I can really get my point across as far as you getting out there and really understanding that neighborhood. It's that important. And that's basically it for today. I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Remember that when you're thinking of buying or selling, call Visions and Traditions. We've got a great group of real estate agents over here. We love to help you. We've got a terrific amount of knowledge. We've got an amazing amount of energy with these agents, and we know the area. And any questions that you have, please do not hesitate to call, text, or email. We're always here to answer your questions, and this is what we do, and this is what we love. Thank you again for joining us. We really do appreciate it. We will see you next week, and hopefully next week we'll be talking about buyers when you start to get a little bit upset because the property's not out there that you're looking for and what you can do about it. See you soon. Bye-bye.